プライト。青の彼方のフォーリズム。
Hello everyone, it's Rayleigh. Sorry it's been a while again. A bunch of life things. But I'm finally back to more Aokana. So... Episode 2. Oh my god. I ran over to where everyone's waiting. The rest of the members turned towards me as I addressed them. Cut it out. I walked past the two girls who were teasing me despite knowing exactly what I'm about to say. Then I positioned myself in front of Shion-san.
Oh, Hinata ka! Yeah, mina made iu na. Ore ni wa zenbu wakatte iru.
He moves up to me and nods deeply several times.
長い時を経て、ようやく俺の真心が通じた。そう理解していた。
No. I don't think it's been that long. No, forget that. We need to talk.
するべきこと。謎解きか。つまり、ここで俺が気の利いたことを言って、君の心をわしづかみにすればいい。そういうことだな。
No. How did you come to that conclusion? No, you got it all wrong.
我ら生まれた日は違えども同日に死ぬことを願わん。
No thanks. I'm not dying with you. Look, there's no way I'm becoming your blood brother. Does this guy have a thing for action movies or what? I mean, he keeps taking everything I say as a challenge, and now he even wants to become blood brothers. And then something completely different. Listen, I saw your plans for practice, and trust me, they need to change. Starting with weight training is a bad idea.
So,
Of course! Shion-san strikes a bodybuilder's pose in response to my words.
何はなくともまずは筋肉だろう。筋肉は無敵だ。最強だ。
No, don't ever say that again. Don't force your biases onto everyone else. Sure, you need muscles to maintain a beautiful flying form. And yes, they help you gain more precise control over your body to increase your speed, but...
ほら、やはり筋肉が。
But... exercises that improve reflexes and straighten your core come first. Beginners have to start there.
そうなのか。
Yes, really. Beginners need to start by learning to maintain proper form. Weight training can throw that off entirely. Misaki nimbly forces herself between me and Shion-san.
マサヤって FC に詳しいんだね。部長の指導が悪いってことをわざわざ忠告しに来てくれたの？
Yes. Misaki places her hand over her mouth and grins like the Wicked Witch of the West.
きっとそれだけじゃないんじゃないかと私は思いますよ。
Damn it. Damn you, Arasaka. You sure know how to corner someone.
ひなたさん、ほら、言いましょう。
Arashina-san's face closes in on me. I just...
入部届の用紙なら持ってるよ。
well...
ああ、もうダメだね。窓があったら担当直入に行っちゃうんだから。もっとマサヤをからかって遊べる場面なのに。そうですよ、そうですよ。もっとこうじわじわとツンデレなとここちょこちょできる場面ですよ。私そういうのって恥ずかしくて背中がムズムズしちゃうんだよね。
Thanks for the save.
ツンデレなんですか？
No way.
何が違うんですか？
How am I supposed to do that?
じゃあどんなんなんですか？
Come on.
わーい、マサヤも入部だー。これで部員は5人ってことですよね。あ、それって自動的に部に昇格ってことだよね、兄ちゃん。
言われてみれば。なんてことだ。俺の熱き心がみんなの FC 魂に火をつけた。そういうことだな、君。
Please calm down. No, oh look. Sir. Hey, get your face away from me.
ごめんね、兄ちゃんはすぐに感極まる人だから。マサヤが入部入部入部入部。
Why are you running around me? Stop.
入部入部入部。
Don't just join her.
入部入部入部。
You two. Kurashina-san circles around me like the other two for a while, but then...
急に立ち止まらないでよ。
Kurashina-san stops in her tracks and gets serious.
もう行っちゃいましょうよ、ひなたさん。
Okay. Overwhelmed by Kurashina-san's serious attitude, I inadvertently ended up nodding. When she looks at me with those earnest eyes of hers, it's hard to say no. Actually, maybe it's more accurate to say they force a yes out of me. I imagine she earned her fortune as a salesman. Episode 2, Circus in the Sky. Okay, first off, I didn't know the shorts were that short, like Manga Dio up in here. Okay, let me properly introduce myself. My name's Masaya Hinata. Starting today, I'll be a part of your FC club. Here's to a fun year together. I say, then give a quick bow. Hoshina-san bounces up and down like a rabbit. Misaki, on the other hand, drops her shoulders exhaustedly.
最初から素直に入部するって言えばいいのに。日向先輩って恥ずかしがり屋さんなんですか？
Don't know if that got captured, but there was like some weird glitch or something. Hold on, I'm not done.
はい。まさかここで入部撤回とかないよね。
I'll join, but not as a Skywalker.
選手をしない？では何をするんです？私と一緒にマネージャー？
No point in having two managers with only 5 members. I decided to be your coach. I turned to face Shion-san. Well, with your permission, Prez. This may sound a bit rude, but I think I'm a better fit for the job than you.
どうしてもというならコーチでも構わないが、コーチ兼任選手じゃダメなのか？
No. I form a grim expression, tensing up my brows, then fixate my eyes on Shion-san before responding. I don't want to be a player. He nods, apparently approving of my decision. Like I thought, he's the kind of person who you could get through to with a show of determination. Like I thought, he's the kind of person who you can get through to with a show of determination.
でもさ、そもそもマサヤにコーチができるの？できますよ。私、日向さんに FC について教えてもらいました。それで未経験なのに1ポイント取れたんです。
コーチということは全員のセコンドもするということだな。
部長、質問です。
おう、なんだ？
セコンドってのは何ですか？ショートと連携して内野の要になる係ですか？むしろなんで野球のセカンドについてそんなに詳しいの？実況パワードリフトプロ野球で覚えました。
You know what? Allow me to explain. I take over for Prez. A second relays instructions to a Skywalker during matches. Normal sports have level playing fields, but FC makes use of a 3-dimensional space. That means an opponent can be anywhere around you. Due to that fact, players often lose sight of their opponent. The most basic function of a second is to help track their partner's opponent. There were no seconds when FC was first invented, which led to matches turning completely one-sided after players lost sight of their opponent. In order to combat that issue, the porting rule was added to the sport. Anyways, back to the original question. Yeah, I'm planning on being both a coach and a second.
日向先輩がコーチでセコンドですか？
I'm not telling you to suddenly trust me. Honestly, it'll probably have a steep learning curve, but I want to give it my best shot.
いえいえ、反対だって言いたいわけじゃなくて、似合ってるなと思っただけですよ。そうそう、マサヤはそういうの好きそうだし、困ってる人を放っておけないタイプというか。
You couldn't be more off the mark.
でもどうしてそんなに選手をしたくないんですか？そんな風に黙らないでくださいよ。聞いちゃいけないことでしたか？もしそうならごめんなさい。
Arasaka bows her head apologetically. No, it's not like that. I try to ease her mind.
怪我でもしたの？選手生命が絶たれる的な？
Like in every other sport, injuries often force people out of FC. However, that's not the reason in my case. No, it's just, way back in the day, I realized my limits as a player, that's all.
ひなたさん。
Kurashina-san quietly mumbles.
マサヤがそれだけのことって言うならそれだけのことなんでしょ？マサヤがコーチに賛成。部長の指導に従ってたら全身が筋肉でバキバキになっちゃいそうだしね。私だってもちろん大賛成です。私も。
では日向雅也君、コーチ兼セコンドとしてよろしく頼む。
Thank you.
はい、楽しくなりそうですね。でもマサヤがサディスティックな鬼コーチだったらどうしよう。うわ、ちょっとありそうで怖いです。
Don't worry, there's no chance of that happening.
私はそういうのもいいと思います。おお、アスカからの大胆な告白だ。ちょっと叩かれるくらいなら我慢します。
That's never happening.
ビシバシよろしくお願いします、コーチ。
Look, why don't you try actually listening? Whatever. Anyway, as your second, I'll be using your first names from now on.
どうしてです？
Last names have a distant feel to them, right? That can get in the way during matches. FC is a sport that demands concentration, so a sense of familiarity between a Skywalker and their second helps. In other words, the mental state of players often determines the outcome of a match.
じゃあ、ひなたさんは私のことアスカって呼ぶんですか？
Right, you can use my first name too.
はい。わかりました。下の名前って私たちは今まで通りってことじゃない。それもつまんないな。ミサニャンって呼んでもいいよ、マサニャン。
What? Stop it.
真っ白にゃん、マシニャン。どうしましょう。どっちも語呂が悪いです。シルニャンでいいんじゃない？それです。
No, you're not. I'm going to use your normal names. Let's keep things simple.
ということは、俺のことはシオンと。
No, I'm going to go with Prez. He's my senior, so I'd feel weird calling him Shion. It might actually make our relationship more awkward instead of improving it. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time to get practice started.
頑張ります。楽しくやろうよ。やりましょう。
他校にいないもの扱いされ続けてきた屈辱を晴らす時が来た。上腕二頭筋および三頭筋がピリピリとうずくと、今すぐにでも走り出したい。
We're in the Konohama Academy FC club, so at least make that blind. Anyway, now that we're an official club.
はあ、今日はもう何かを成し遂げたって気分だね。お祝いに何か食べに行かないと。はい、甘いものがいいと思います。確かに。でも甘いものの前にしょっぱいものも食べたいな。ポテトを食べてからアイスを食べるとより甘さが引き立つし、雑煮の後におしるこを食べるのもいいよね。さすが美咲先輩、いいこと言います。賛成です。
No, you aren't. Celebrating comes later. First, we need to have an open, honest discussion to help me develop a workout routine for each of you.
まさやは真面目なんだからな。真面目、いいと思います。私、FC を真面目にやってみたいです。おお、やる気だね。張り切っちゃって初々しいね。
This is our first practice session, so why not follow her example? Tell me, does anyone other than Prez have an experience?
私はありません。見たことはありますけど。私は1回だけです。私やったことあるよ。
Really?
こっちに引っ越してくる前にちょっとね。美咲先輩、スポーツなら何でもできますから期待していいと思いますよ。期待の新戦力です。
Right, Misaki really can do anything. She's the kind of person who's good at everything without putting in any effort. I'm real jealous. What was your style?
どのタイプでもやってたし、どれでもできると思うけど。
Don't act like that isn't impressive.
だってできるんだからしょうがないもん。
Okay, let me change the question. Which style do you prefer?
プレイするならファイターがいいかな。逃げ回るよりバチバチやるのが好きだからさ。
And you're a speeder, right, Prez? Prez strikes a bodybuilder pose as he hears my words.
当然生粋のスピーダーだ。スピードを追い求めるのが男の生き様。俺が求めるのは得点ではなくスピード。
Yeah, you really should be going after points. If speed's all you want, shouldn't you move to a different sport?
勝ち負けよりもはるか高きにあるバニッシングポイント。つまり消失線を目指して高速で飛び続けるのが男のロマン。
Sorry about that. Like I said, shouldn't you go with a different sport? I guess FC is the only popular sport that uses grav shoes. Short and long distance races do exist, but they're not really a big thing. Marathons that, for instance, involve things like flying across the whole American continent also get some viewership, but I'm not sure that's really a sport. There's a sport called Superfly, though. It's an extreme race where you have to keep flying straight for at least 100 miles, but that isn't really a thing in Japan. Asuka's hand shoots up.
はい、コーチ。質問です。ファイターとスピーダーって何ですか？
Those are FC playstyles. There are 3 in total. Fighter, All-Rounder, and Speeder.
タイプですか？
Let's start with Fighter. Fighters try to score points by attacking their opponents directly.
得点って背中をポンとタッチすることですよね。
Right. One touch is 1 point. Speeders are the opposite. They avoid their opponents and score points by racing between the 4 buoys.
V って空中に浮いているのですよね。
Asuka looks up at the practice buoys that are floating over the water beyond the school's fence. Yeah, that's right. They use anti-gravity to float. If you touch a buoy ahead of your opponent, you get 1 point.
つまり相手の背中と V に触れることで点数が入るんですね。
Exactly. By the way, an all-rounder goes for both, like the name applies.
私はどのタイプでしょうか？
You gotta find that out on your own. We'll start you off as an all-rounder, since that'll let you get a feel for both. But before that, you need to learn the rules.
ルールですか？
Before we go into too much detail, I'll have Prez and Misaki face off in a practice match. I'll explain more as we watch them. As for FC shoes...
部の備品を見てきたんだ。一応卒業していった先輩が残していったのがそこの段ボール箱に何足か入ってるよ。
I looked inside the cardboard box Madoka points to. These are pretty old. I assume you've got your own pair, yeah?
おう、バリバリきつめにスピーダー調整してあるインベイドのバルムンクだ。
Wow, impressive. Invade is an American grav shoe brand. They also make civilian grav shoes, but I've found that's not their specialty. Balmons, in particular, are already fine-tuned for speeders. They can't be used for any other playstyles. You have Balmons with a heavy speeder tuning tacked on? Can you actually tune in those? You have Balmons with a heavy speeder tuner tacked on? Can you actually turn in those? Sure, I imagine that makes him very fast, but doesn't it also make flexible movement impossible?
そのための筋肉だ。
Seems this guy has a pretty unique playstyle. He's clearly not meant to coach others. Misaki, what's your shoe size?
24だよ。
Let's see. There's nothing in that size here.
いいよいいよ、模擬試合でしょ。それなら普通の靴で OK でしょ。
Well, I guess that's true. You can grab some fun for Miss Kagami and go buy FC shoes for everyone tomorrow.
部費が出るんだ。
I mean, we are an actual club now, so yeah. Miss Kagami has ulterior motives that are banking on this, so I'm sure she'll gather the funds we need for shoes. Can you two get started now?
よっしゃ、任せとけ。
よーし、やるぞー。頑張れ、美咲先輩。声援に応えちゃおうかな。捨てられた子犬みたいな顔で私を見ても応援しないよ。
なんでだ。
兄を応援する妹なんて気持ち悪いよ。
気持ち悪くない。よく聞け。兄を思う妹の心というのは決して気持ち悪いものではないんだぞ。
そういう言い方が気持ち悪いの。もうしょうがないな。はいはい、頑張ってね、お兄ちゃん。
よーし、兄の威厳と部長の尊厳をかけてやったぜ。
私の愛を受け取った美咲先輩が負けるわけありません。
Let's go, lesbians!
愛まで受け取った覚えはないけどな。でも勝つぞ。
Look, winning doesn't matter here. I'm trying to use you two to help explain the rules, remember? I need an example of a speeder winning first, so go do that.
つまり私がわざと負ければいいわけ？
Yeah, but really sell the loss. I'll sync up all of our headsets to make it easier. Just follow my instructions, okay?
了解と。
Misaki stretches her back like a cat that just got up as she says that.
じゃ、部長、始めましょうか。
よし、やるか。
Perez raises his heels to prepare himself for the match.
気合だ、気合だ、気合だ。
Then he activates his grav shoes. Well, that's an interesting activation key.
恥ずかしい、恥ずかしい、恥ずかしい。じゃあ私も飛ぶにゃん。
Nyam? She's really obsessed with cats, huh? Misaki says her activation key, which turns on her grav shoes. And yours is just plain silly.
可愛い方がいいじゃない？そうですよ。可愛いは正義という名言だってあるんですから。
Sounds more cringy than cute to me.
はい質問です。部長の暮らしのかかとから出ている綺麗なのは何ですか？
Oh, the light, you mean? Those are contrails.
何ですか？
Right, it's a feature of FC ground shoes. When you force a small fraction of anti-gravitrons into contact with air at particular When you force a small fraction of anti-gravitons in contact with air at particular intervals, you get an effect similar to light hitting a prism. When you force a small fraction of anti-gravitons into contact with air at particular intervals, you get an effect similar to light hitting a prism. In other words, light refracts, disperses, and reflects. The contrails used in FC are a product of this phenomenon.
でも普段履いているものでは出ない光がどうして競技用だと出るんですか？
A reasonable question. Flying circus takes place way up in the sky, which means the audience down on the ground needs an easy way to locate players.
なるほど。確かに見やすいですし、かっこいいですもんね。
You can turn on contrails on normal graph shoes, but there's no real point. Alright, everyone get into position at first.
は
Misaki and Prez fly over the fence. There's a steep cliff a couple meters beyond it, and then the ocean. FC takes place in the sky, which means you can do it anywhere. Shito City is surrounded by the ocean, so that became the natural playing ground in our area. Plus, it's also technically safer when there's water beneath you instead of solid ground, though modern graph shoes have tons of fail-safes that make getting injured from a fall impossible.
い、質問です。ファーストって何ですか？
The first buoy. See those four in the sky? Starting clockwise from first, it's second, then third, then fourth. Simple, right?
はい、わかりやすいです。
The line that connects first and second is called the first line. It's followed by the second, third, and fourth line. The square that these four lines form is called the field.
空中の正方形で試合をするわけですね。
Exactly. I'm sure you already understand, but FC is a sport where you have to follow those lines and fly around the square.
ということは、ファーストからセカンドを目指してサード、フォースと来て。
At that point, you head back to first. Keep flying round and round until time runs out. Depending on how a match is going, you can also choose to stop or move back and forth on a line, but you can't ever move back a line.
ファーストラインからフォースラインに移動しちゃダメです。ということですね。
Bingo. I look up, confirm Misaki and Prez have positioned themselves at first, and speak over the headset. Start on my signal. And remember, show us how a speeder wins a match first.
任せとけ。
オッケー。
It's time. Ready, set, go!
おっしゃ。
Prez leans his body forward and flies off towards second, heading along the first line. You aren't allowed to touch your opponent until someone reaches second, making a pure contest of speed. The one who touches second first scores 1 point.
どうしてタッチ禁止なんですか？
Fighters have explosive starts and worse acceleration. On the other hand, speeders start off slow, but accelerate quickly. If both start flying at the exact same time, a fighter can easily stop a speeder early and make the match one-sided.
一方的な展開。つまりお互いが静止した状態だとフ ファイターの方がポイントを取りやすいということですか？
Correct, but the opposite is also true. Speeders have the advantage as long as they keep moving.
あれれ、ミサキちゃんが脇道にそれちゃってますけど。
Misaki casually floats off toward the center of the second line, leaving the ring behind.
あれは危険ですか？私が応援してるんですから、ミサキ先輩は危険なんかしませんよ。
You know, I can totally see that happening, but that's not the case here. She's just taking a shortcut.
ショートカットですか？
You're allowed to give up on a buoy to jump forward, yeah. Otherwise, the player who's faster would always win.
あ、そっか。ぐるぐる回るわけですから、速い人に追いつけなかったらそれで終わりですね。
It really isn't. By touching on the first line at the start of the match, you can give up on getting a buoy and jump to the next line. That's it, the rest is simple.
わかりました。明日までに頭に叩き込んでおきます。
Today, it's easy. Now watch, things are just getting started.
あ、V を触ったから部長に1点ですね。兄ちゃん頑張れ。
Circus proceeds to climb upward at a diagonal angle.
見間違いかもしれませんけど、部長が V に触れた時、不自然に速くなりませんでしたか？
Good catch. I explained that buoys use anti-gravity to float, didn't I? Well, anti-gravity fields repel each other, not just gravity. Using that repulsion to accelerate is a basic FC technique.
行くぞ。
どうぞ。
Circus descends diagonally from his elevated position. Like I expected, he moves oddly when he turns due to his shoe specs, making his speed drop somewhat. Misaki, who positioned herself at the center of the second line, slowly moves to intercept Prez's flight path.
じゃあ。
However, before she manages to reach him, Prez blows by at terrifying speeds.
ポイントを見誤ってしまった。スピードに乗っている相手を止めるのはなんて難しいんだ。次の V へのタッチを放棄して隣のラインへ移動しなくては。
Thanks for the explanation. Prez shakes off Misaki again on the third line and touches the buoy. That brings the score to 3-0.
うわー、スピードに翻弄されて何もできないよ。ゴテゴテになってしまう。分かってきました。スピーダーは待ち構える相手をスピードで振り切ってポイントをゲットしていくわけですね。
Right now, he's just breaking through on speed alone. However, in a real match, he'll use small feints to throw off his opponent. Or, at least, I hope he will. He's pretty fast, but that can only get him so far. He can't just try to bulldoze over and over.
兄ちゃん、まっすぐな性格だからフェイントとか下手そう。
Right. I can totally see him going, a real man faces his opponent head on. Essentially, speeders use speed to get the upper hand in a match.
わかりました。
Prez, slow down. It's time for you guys to show how fighters win matches. Keep going. I need to restart.
わかったぜ。
了解。バチバチやっちゃうよ。
Misaki arrives at the center of the fourth line, and after that, she starts flying in small circles as she's waiting for Prez. Not like I doubted her, but seeing her circling makes it clear that she has actual FC experience.
ミサキちゃんは何をしてるんですか？
Fighters have good initial velocity and poor acceleration, which is why she has to keep herself moving. Momentum is a big deal, basically.
そうですか？
I'll give you an example. It's easier to ride a bike. I'll give you an example. It's easier to ride a bike uphill if you're already moving, right?
それは 動いてる自転車ですね。あ、ミサキちゃんが動いているのはそういうことですか？
Yep. If a fighter is up against another fighter, then there are advantages to staying still, but Prez is making his move.
前から急降下で V を狙うつもりでしょうか？
Sure seems like it. When you approach a buoy directly, it's fairly easy for your opponent to read the exact spot you're going to pass through and stop you. You must be trying to keep it simple to help my lesson. Yeah, that has to be it. Misaki obstructs Prez's path.
先回りして頭を押さえますよ。
She extends both her hands toward Prez, seemingly trying to block him in the most literal sense of the word, and... bang! The sound of electrical discharge fills the air.
おっとだ。
Both of them are thrown back a good 5 meters.
ミサキ先輩、大丈夫ですか？
Misaki immediately recovers and waves at Mashiro.
大丈夫大丈夫。こんなので驚いてたら FC はできないよ。コーチ、今のは。
Like I explained earlier, anti-gravity fields repel each other, and so when two players clash, well, you can see the results for yourself.
ミサキちゃんは自分からぶつかりに行きましたよね。今のは得点になるんですか？
No, she just did that to stop Prez. Speeders have poor initial velocity, remember? That means they take longer to recover from getting knocked off balance. Fighters, on the other hand, have good initial velocity, so they recover quickly, and because of that, fighters tend to gain the upper hand after a clash. That said, she didn't touch his back there, which means she has yet to score a point.
もう一回。
Misaki goes in for another clash. Things get interesting after a fighter kills their opponent's speed through clashes.
まずは1点と。
Misaki nimbly maneuvers behind Prez and touches his back. The moment Misaki's hand touches his back, the triangle-shaped yellow light appears. And with that, she scored her first point. The light you saw is called a point field. It appears when a player squints it. And with that, she scored her first point. The light you just saw is called a point field. It appears when a player scores a point in a dogfight.
佐藤院さんとの対戦でも見ました。さっきのコントレールと同じで、見ている人に分かりやすくするためのものなんですね。
Yep, it's another feature of FC Grav shoes. Another clang resounds as they both get thrown in opposite directions. This is where the match really begins for fighters.
ここからがですか？
Think about it. When a clash happens, each person gets thrown in opposite directions. You can use that to slow your opponent down and force them to play your game, but you can also speed them up by mistake. I push my right hand's palm with my left hand to illustrate my point. If you push them in the wrong direction, you just end up helping them.
なるほど。
What that means is, when you're in present position, you're trying to force your opponent to push you towards the next buoy, even if that means letting them score. Speeders can use their repulsion to make up for their slow initial velocity.
なるほど。知能犯ですね。
I get what you mean, but why is it a crime? Misaki, on the other hand, wants to push him away from the next buoy. If she can keep holding him back, she'll have the time to score multiple points in a row.
そこに駆け引きがあるんですね。
That's right. And since we're trying to show you how fighters win their matches,
2点目。
Misaki gets behind Prez again and touches him in a way that sends him flying toward the water surface.
ミサキ先輩、かっこいい。
can see that Prez has slowed to a crawl, yeah. Once you're in that situation as a speeder, things get tough.
部長はどうすればいいんですか？
There are a few options. You could try to get far enough away from the Saki to start accelerating again, or position himself to get pushed toward the next buoy, or go for a surprise attack and touch her back.
部長が美咲ちゃんの背中を？でもさっきはスピーダーの人は相手の背中を狙わないって。
Generally speaking, they don't. Speeders are at a disadvantage in dogfights, but as the saying goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. If they're stuck in place and need points, then sometimes they'll go for their opponent's back instead of the next buoy.
奥が深いです。部位を狙うか背中を狙うかで試合展開が違ってくるんですね。
They've got a speeder and fighter right now, which is why there's such a clear division of who's going for what. If you have an all-rounder up against another all-rounder, it's a lot more unpredictable.
複雑になりそうです。
And once in a while, when you have two speeders up against each other, matches turn into races.
それはそれで見てみたいです。
On the other hand, fighter versus fighter usually ends up being an all-out brawl. You get matches where Skywalkers never even move past the second line.
同じルールでやっているスポーツなのにいろんな展開があるんですね。
Yeah, that's what makes FC so fun, I guess. FC's fun? What the hell's wrong with me?
どうかしましたか？
Nothing. Well, I guess that's enough for now. Hey you two, let's call it...
4点目イエーイ！
Hey, don't get carried away and bully Prez. The match is over. Misaki comes flying down toward me.
ねえどうだった？少しは役立ったかな？はい、実際に試合を見てますます興味を持ちました。かっこよかったです。はいはい、分かったから泣きつかないように。兄ちゃん、妹の顔を無言で見つめない方がいいよ。絶対に抱きついたりとかしないし。模擬試合としては良かったんじゃない？
まあそういうことだ。これからどんどん頑張っていこうではないか。
はい、コーチ、早速練習をしましょう。私、飛びたいです。
No.
ダメってどうしてですか？アスカちゃんあれだよ。サディスティックなコーチの片鱗を見せてるわけだよ。あ、なるほど、そういうことでしたか。そういうのってコーチプレイというんでしたっけ？
Quit talking nonsense. FC grab shoes are pretty different from your civilian ones, so it's better to wait until you've had the right equipment. Don't want you developing any bad habits, understand?
そういうことでしたか。じゃあ、今から買いに行きましょう。
It's kinda late for that now. We'll go tomorrow.
どうしたアスカ？引きつけでも起こしましたか？違います。明日がとっても楽しみなんです。
Asuka says with sparkling eyes. Man, that's actually kinda creepy. But maybe... just maybe... I had the same look in my eyes when I first started.
マネージャーから質問があります。
Yeah.
正式に部になったからには部室はもらえるのかな？
I guess we should.
いや、それは無理だ。
無理なんですか？部なのに？
物理的に無理だ。 部室は全て埋まっているんだ。部室待ちの部は多いからな。一度奪われた部室はそう簡単には帰ってこない。
Huh. Where'd you find the cardboard box with grab shoes then?
これは外の用具入れのプレハブで発見してきたんだよ。ではプレハブ小屋を掃除して部室にしてはどうでしょうか。それは無理じゃないかな。他の部も使ってるし、体育の時間に使う用具も入ってるし。でも部室がないと不便だね。真面目にやるなら練習用のユニフォームとか着た方がいいし。更衣室は体育館ですから、そこで着替えてこっちまで来るのって微妙に面倒ですしね。着替えた方がいいんですか？
Flight suits help stabilize anti-gravitrons, so they're an FC staple. Can't disregard safety.
着替えはともかくとして、部を真面目にするなら備品を置いておける場所とかミーティングできる場所があった方が良くないかな。
True. It would feel pretty awkward wearing flight suits in a normal classroom. Plus, the clubroom would give us the private space we need to talk freely.
そういえばさっき飛んできた時、崖の真ん中あたりに小屋みたいのがあった気がするんだけど。
A hut in the middle of the cliff? Never flown beyond the fence since there's nothing there besides the ocean. I know there's a steep cliff too, but I've never actually seen it myself.
ああ、あれか。あれなら部室の代わりになるかもしれないな。
あれって何ですか？
昔海沿いに島を一周できる周回道路があったんだよ。ここの崖の真ん中にもその道路が通ってたんだ。
そういえばおばあちゃんからそういう話を聞いたことがあったかも。
今島の中央を通る道路ができたから、海に自動車が転落しそうな周回道路は部分で廃道になったんだ。
I've heard that before. An old man in my neighborhood was talking about how the new roads are way safer and far more convenient. So, what's that hut there?
バスだ。
Bus?
自動車の？楽器のバスにしては大きすぎたかな。
俺も詳しく知ってるわけじゃないが、バス会社が赤字経営で使わない道なら廃バスを放置してもいいだろうということらしい。
わかりました。そのバスを部室にすればいいわけですね。いいと思うな。崖の真ん中でブラシを履いてないといけない場所だから FC 部っぽいと思う。早速行ってみましょうよ。
Don't we need to get permission? A look of great confidence surfaces on Madoka's face.
絶対に誰も使ってないんだから大丈夫じゃないかな。軽く先生に聞いて問題がありそうだったらこっそり部室にしちゃえばいいよ。
This girl's pretty sly. Guess we might as well go take a look.
行きましょう。
I land on the ground and deactivate my grab shoes. A heavy sensation akin to the feel of walking out onto dry land after a quick swim spreads through my body. Didn't know there was something like that here. Yep, this is definitely a bus.
こっちにはバス停と待合室もある。そのまま放置されたって感じですね。ネットオークションとかに出したら高く売れないかな。冴えてますね、美咲先輩。ヴィンテージものかもしれません。
I doubt it. Besides, selling stuff that isn't even ours would be a crime.
では、勝手 手に部室にしてしまうのは犯罪じゃないんですか？
Well,
それはグレータ言うことで、下が絡まるほど放置されてたんだから、私たちがどうしたって誰かに怒られるようなことじゃないよ。
our club president pounds his own chest after he hears that.
そういうことだ。何かあったら部長の俺が責任を取るぜ。
These siblings are something else.
中の様子を見てきます。
Asuka makes a mad dash for the bus and places both her hands on the door. The door creaks open, making a rather eerie sound.
なんとか部室にできそうですよ。どれどれ？それなりに汚れてはいますけど。
Should be fine if we give it a good scrubbing. Doesn't look like there are any leaks in the roof either. There are no stains on the floor and nothing appears to be rotten. Sure, some floorboards have come loose, but even a toddler can fix those issues.
早速掃除しましょう。アスカは本当にやる気に満ちてるね。眩しいよ。ピカピカです。よし、その心のようにバスの中もピカピカにするのだ。頑張ります。
Don't shove it all onto her, Misaki. You gotta pitch in too.
はいはい。反対する人がいないなら私、学校から掃除道具持ってくるけど。
Okay, good to that.
俺のマッスルのうならせ場所だな。
Just make sure you don't use enough strength to slam your foot right through the floor.
頑張りましょうね、コーチ。
Yeah. I nod as I'm somewhat overwhelmed by her overeager attitude. I wipe the sweat off my forehead with my hand. Guess that should do for today. The bus was incredibly dusty because of the years of neglect, but we cleaned it up a fair bit. Unfortunately, there are some stains that require special cleaning products, which means we have to put those off for another time.
十分だと思うよ。あとは少しずつ備品とか入れていけばそれっぽくなるんじゃないかな。終わった終わった。甘いもの食べたいよ。コンビニで何か買って帰りましょう。ってアスカ先輩？アスカ
She's wiping a window frame with some crazy concentration. Asuka? What the? Her sudden shriek startles me and I jump back.
どうしましたか？
That's what I want to know. What were you doing?
サッシの汚れがなかなか落ちないから拭いていたんですけど、変なことしました？こっちの風習ではサッシの汚れは服の神だから取らないようにするとか。
What do you take us for, savages? Gotta say though, that was some impressive concentration. Didn't hear us talking to you from 2 feet away.
そうだったんですか？全然気づきませんでした。私、集中しすぎることが多くて、すみません。
There's no need to apologize. Concentration is an important part of FC, so you got a leg up there.
そうなんですか？ありがとうございます。はい、FC のことで質問があるんですけど、いいですか？
What's up? You already know way more than me about Misaki, so I doubt I have any info for you.
FC のことでと言いました。美咲先輩のこと以外の質問だってします。
Don't lie.
真っ白は知らないけど、マサヤだけが知ってることだってあるじゃない？なんですか？ ぜひ知りたいです。私の素肌の柔らかさとか。まさや先輩。
Don't give me that bloodthirsty look.
まさやさん、そういうのは早いです。
Calm down, Asuka. Don't react to her dumb jokes. Never come into contact with something so deadly.
そんなもん言うな。冗談ですよね。本当だったらまさや先輩のこと指してしまうかも。
Stop it. You're scaring me. No scary snickering either. She made all that up, so you got no reason to stab me. With that out of the way, what's your question? Just trust me.
わかりました。今日のところは信じてあげることにします。寿命が伸びてよかったですね。
Wow, thank you so much. But enough of that, get to the question already.
部長と美咲先輩が模擬試合をしましたけど、あれは模擬試合だからですか？それとも FC って男女で分けてないんですか？
FC has no gender division because it's mainly based on form, reflexes, and critical thinking. There's no noticeable difference between men and women in any of those categories.
それなのに部長は筋トレを。
筋肉は無敵だ。
遠い目をしてそんなこと言われても。
To be fair, Prez isn't completely off base. Muscles are important too.
分かってきたようだな、ひなたよ。
No, I don't think we're on the same wavelength at all. I wonder what drove him to worship muscles. Muscles only factor in at the highest level of professional play. In our case, physical differences between men and women have no bearing.
つまり男女関係なく試合をすると？
Yep. Can't say it'll stay the same as Groucho technology advances or the general skill level of players goes up. But for now, that's of no concern.
むしろ女の方が有利なスポーツだとも言われているな。
そうなんですか？
Yeah, there are some who believe that. Women generally weigh less than men, right? Well, the quantity of anti-gravitons emitted by Groucho's always remains the same, so less weight equals more speed.
戦闘機が必死になって重量を減らすのと一緒だな。
ああ、じゃあ男の人が有利な点はあるんですか？
Yeah, they're heavier weight.
さっきと言っていることが違くない？
Ever heard of Newton's first law? Basically, it's more difficult to change a heavy object's trajectory. When a light object tries to stop an approaching heavy object head-on, it gets pushed off to the side, right?
つまり重い人ほど止めづらくなるってことか。まどか、体重に関する変な冗談を言わなくていいからね。先回りして警告しなくていいよ。それでこんなことを言うのは恥ずかしいというか、よこしまなことを考えてとか思われるかもしれませんけど。
It's about her breasts, isn't it?
お？エッチな質問？わーいみんな、これからましろがエッチな質問をします。ワクワクだね。はい、ワクワクです。変な期待をしないでいいです。そういうのじゃなくてですね、体をぶつけ合ったりすることもあるんですよね。
Are you worried about pain? If you are, then relax. Anti-gravity layer absorbs shock, and there's no real danger of bumping into random things since you're way up in the air. FC may look dangerous or painful, but it's extremely safe.
そうだよ。クッションにくるまれてるみたいなものだからさ。 私が気になるのはそういうことではなくて、接触した時に胸が当たったり触られたりしたら嫌だなということで、お尻とかもです。
So, I'm just gonna say you're probably best suited as a speeder then. You know, nobody touched me.
あ、確かにそうかもしれません。でもテレビで見た強豪柔道部の女子部員は男子に混じって練習してましたから、意外と気にならないのかも。
Relax.
心配しなくていいということは、精神修行で克服せよと。心と滅却すれば胸を触られても平気だと、そういうことですか？
I guess that would work, but no, that's not what I mean. I guess that would work, but no, that's not what I meant. For example, if I tried touching your breast during a match.
じゃあ真っ白の胸に。マサヤさんってエッチな人なんですか？
Are you guys even listening to me? I said, for example.
例えば真っ白の胸に手が伸びて、その柔らかさに恍惚となるマサヤなのであった。とんでもないこと言わないでください。私の胸に触っていいのは美咲先輩だけなんですから。
That is ridiculous, but not in the way you mean. Listen, I could never actually touch your breast during a match.
不可能とはどういうことですか？ましろちゃんの胸には触りたくないってことですか？あー、それは傷ついちゃうよね。触りたいって言われても嫌だけど、触りたくないって言われるのも嫌だよね。とりあえず謝ってください。
Come on, can't you guys just let me finish? Remember what I said earlier? Anti-gravity fields repel each other. If I ever try to touch them, a layer would form between my hand and your breasts.
でも強く押したりしたらどうなんですか？
Wouldn't change anything. Getting past that layer is impossible. I couldn't touch you even if I wanted to. Get it now?
触りたくても触れないですか。なんだか悲しいお話みたいですね。でもマサヤさんと初めて会った時、一緒に空を飛びましたよね。
Back then, you didn't activate your grab shoes. We were both flying thanks to mine.
なるほど。つまりブラシを履いて起動させた状態でハグしたりとか、そういうのはできないってことですね。
Exactly.
もしかしてそういうことしてみたかったとか？そんなこと考えてません。そんな慌てて否定しなくてもいいのに。でも空中でキスとかできたらロマンチックだよね。ですかね。あれ？アスカ赤くなってる？なってません。
Guess this is as good a time as any to explain more about grab shoes. I mean, we are going shopping for them tomorrow.
よろしくお願いします。
Okay, here's a fun fact about the anti-gravity device used in grab shoes. You can make it smaller, but not bigger. Or, well, you can make it bigger, but that's pointless.
無意味ですか？
Output would remain the same even if you made it bigger. I don't know the exact science, but apparently there's no getting around it.
だから空飛ぶ自動車とかないだろ？ 反重力装置は小型化に成功し続け、大型化に失敗し続けた歴史なんだぜ。
そういえば人と V 以外のものが浮かんでるのって見たことないです。
Right. You might think 2 pairs of grav shoes are enough to move heavy things around, but it's not possible because they repel each other. And that doesn't change even if you activate them at the same time.
では重いものとかは運べないわけですね。
Bingo. Grav shoes have a weight limit of 300 kilograms, but something that heavy would barely float.
ということは女の子6人くらいなら手をつないで飛べそうですね。
Sure. You're making someone squirm with those numbers, Asuka.
そんなことない。私はスレンダーボディなんだから。
Slender body. Well, it's not like forming a chain of 6 girls is feasible. At those numbers, it'd be next to impossible to balance yourself. I'd say 4 people is about the best you can do.
なるほど。家や学校が浮いてる光景を見たことないのはそういうことだったんですね。
And with that, it's time to call it a day.
明日靴を買いに行くのが楽しみです。
Asuka forms a radiant smile.
クラシナ、これから部活か？
はい、みんなでグラシを買いに行く予定なんですけど。
そうだった。今朝マサヤがそんなこと言ってたな。あ、今ちょっとだけいいか？見せたいものがあった。
見せたいものですか？
秘蔵の動画。
Don't do it, Asuka.
秘蔵の。
エッチな想像でもしたか？
してません。
クラシナには興味があるものだと思うぞ。
興味ですか？
ここにあったと思うけど。あった。ほら、私のスマホを見てみな。
はい。これは FC の試合ですか？
そう、数年前のジュニアの部のね。しばらく見てから感想を聞かせてくれ。
でも私まだ FC を始めてもいないのに感想なんて。
いいから。
わかりました。この女の子の動きがとっても綺麗だと思います。
そっか、髪が長いから女の子に見えてしまうよな。それはマサヤだ。
本当だ、面影があります。マサヤさんです。マサヤさんって髪を伸ばすと可愛いんですね。
そうだな。まあそれで昔散々からかわれたからもうあんなに伸ばすことはないだろうけどね。
マサヤさん、こんな風に飛べるんだ。
才能もあったし努力も好きだったからね。
こんなに自由に飛べるのにどうして選手を？
あいつは早熟だったから。 FC はメンタルも大切だ。そこんとこがついていかなかったんだろうな。
心がついていかなかったということですか？
そうらしい。正直私もどうしてマサヤが FC をやめたのかわからない。私には教えてくれなかった。だが何があったにしてももうそろそろ 心の傷が癒えてもいい頃だと思う。
先生、一つ質問していいですか？
ああ、なんだ。
どうして私にこの動画を見せたんですか？
クラシナが転校してきてからマサヤに心境の変化があったようだからな。私はマサヤにもう一度飛んでほしいな、自分の意志でね。
私にこの動画を見せるとマサヤさんが飛んでくれるんですか？
それは私にもわからないけど、将を陰と欲すればまず馬を射よって言葉もあるし、それよりクラシナには知っておいてほしかったのさ。きっと悪いことにはならないって思ったんだ。
私どうしたらいいのかわかりませんけどマサヤさんが飛んでるところを見れてよかったです。ありがとうございました。
どういたしまして。私がこの動画を見せたことみんなには内緒だ。
わかりました。
I'm on my way to the store that sells grab shoes with everyone.
なんだかワクワクします。初めて携帯とか買ってもらった時を思い出すね。あ、なんか近いです、その感じ。
Well, these shoes will become a part of your daily life like a cell phone, so... Oh, there's Minamo-chan. Hey! Call out to the girl who's sweeping the ground in front of the store we're heading to.
お久しぶりです。
I like your little hair clip spade thingy. She bows her head lightly. Then she gingerly nods to the others around me. Is your brother inside?
はい、呼んできましょうか。
No, you don't have to. We're gonna go check out the grab shoes inside anyway. What are you up to?
私はまだ用事があるので失礼します。
Minamo-chan quickly heads to her house with a lowered head after she says that. Minamo-chan is so nimble as she disappears that she reminds me of a small animal. A squirrel, maybe?
可愛い子でしたけど、すぐにいなくなっちゃいましたね。うちの制服じゃなかったみたいです。あれ、どこのだったかな。マサヤは知ってるみたいだけど。
She's the owner's little sister. They've run into each other a few times, that's all.
そうなんですか。
Seriously, why are all three of you imagining the same thing? It's not like that. Those grins on their faces are a lot clearer than any words. They turn away from their piercing stares and enter the store in front of us, Shirase Sky Sports. FC articles and equipment cover every inch of the walls inside. Shoes, maintenance tools, cleaning kits, and so on. You can get everything you need here. Asuka looks around the cramped store interior with her mouth wide open.
これが全部 FC 用品なんですか？
Not everything. There are other sports that use grab shoes, after all. I'd say about 80% is FC related. The most popular grab shoe sport is FC, so when you consider demand, that's about what you end up with.
美咲先輩、これ見てください。なにお、グラシュでの地球一周チャレンジ向けのグッズ？そんなことできるの？
Probably not. They're clearly exaggerating. You know how ads are. I'm sure some adventurous people have tried, though.
夢がありますね。ましろ、私はその夢を応援してるよ。でも美咲先輩が応援してくれるなら私頑張ります。
I can promise you'll die partway through the journey, so don't. By the way, all that stuff over there is for long-distance flight, which won't help us. Only Asuka, Misaki, and Mashiro joined in on this trip. Perez already has a pair of FC grab shoes, and Madoka wanted to hang back and work on the club room.
いらっしゃい。おお、まさやか。久しぶりだな。元気だったか？
Just fine. A cheerful guy walks over to us from the cash register. It's Shirase-san, the store manager. We ran into Minamo-chan just now.
おお、そうか。可愛くなっただろう？
Yeah, I guess.
やらんよ。
We're here to pick up some FC grab shoes. What would you recommend?
ちょっとは乗ってくれよ。まあいいや。暮らしの件は葵から話を聞いてるよ。
葵？呼び捨て？きっと大人の関係ですよ。
Haven't we been doing the exact same?
それは私とマサヤが大人の関係だからじゃない？そうだったんですか？
You really need to stop reacting to Misaki's dumb jokes.
葵とは昔から知り合いだからね。
I like your club logo thingy on your apron. I wonder who has the heart and diamond. Do they have... I don't... Shirase-san laughs jovially.
いいやつをいくつか見繕ってやってくれってさっき連絡があったんだ。
Cool.
コーチをするんだって。もしかして女の子ばっかりのチームなのかな。いいね。ハーレムチームは男の夢だ。
Harem team.
私マサヤハーレムの一員だったんだ。私も。
Why do you guys always have to react to dumb jokes?
で、どんな暮らしをお求めかな？
I'm not sure yet. Each of these three need a pair, so I'd like your advice.
はい、靴にどういう違いがあるのか聞いておきたいです。
That slipped my mind. Okay. First thing you need to know is that there are three types of shoes.
スピーダー、ファイター、オールラウンダーですね。
Right. Grab shoes come equipped with so-called balancers. And by adjusting them, you can get stuff like fighter grab shoes with all-rounder tuning, all-rounder grab shoes with speeder tuning, and so on.
靴によって具体的に何がどう違うんでしょう。例えばスピーダーの靴を履くと何がどうなるんですか？
それは俺が説明しよう。ブラシを起動するときに何が起きてるか知ってる？
反重力子というのが靴から出るんですよね。
その通り。靴から出た反重力子が膜となって全身を覆うんだ。
昨日少しそんな話をマサヤ先輩から聞きました。
だから体の一部だけに重力を感じるってことないだろう？
単純に浮かぶなら足だけでいいんじゃないですか？
That'd be really dangerous. Sure, you could float all that way. That'd be really dangerous. Sure, you could float up that way, but you'd be dead meat if you turned it all. Asuka looks up at the ceiling as she mulls over my words.
確かに体の端っこだけで浮くのはバランスを崩したら最後っぽいです。
スピーダー用のグラシとファイター用のグラシでは膜の張り方が違うんだ。ちなみに膜のことはメンブレンって呼ぶから覚えておいてね。
Asuka draws back her chin with a serious look on her face.
わかりました。反重力子の膜はメンブレンですね。
そうで、どうやって前に進んでるかわかる？
体をこうやって前に傾けるとスーッと進みます。
That's not what he means. He's asking you why you start moving when you lean forward.
全然わかりません。そういえば私も知らないです。私も
I get Asuka, but you guys should know, you're locals.
そんなこと言っても知らないものはしょうがないじゃない。それに私は地元組じゃないもん。引っ越してきてまだ2年だもん。
I'd say living in a place for 2 years makes you a local.
これはよく使われる例え話なんだけど、リニアモーターカーは知ってるだろ？
ものすごい速さで走る電車ですよね。
リニアモーターカーがどうやって走るか知ってる？
知りません。知りません。知りません。
Come on, that should be obvious.
そんなこと言っても知らないんだからしょうがないじゃない。男の人ってこういう科学豆知識みたいな話好きだよね。それでいてババロアとプリンの違いはわかんないんですからね。そうそう、クッキーとビスケットの違いもわかんないときてるからね。そっちの方が全然重要なのに。
Okay, that's enough out of you two. Maglev trains move through electromagnetic propulsion. You know that opposite poles attract and like poles repel each other, right?
反発力で浮いて引きつけられる吸引力で動くんだ。つまり N と N で浮いていて前方に S を置いて引っ張る。引っ張り切ったところで下の S を N に変えてまた前方に S を置く。
つまりそれを重力と反重力に置き換えて考えればいいんですよね。なんとなく分かってきました。
グラシの場合は反重力で浮いて地球の重力による吸引力で動いてるんだよ。
ということは何でしたっけ、膜のこと。
Membrane.
メンブレンを重力にしたり反重力にしたりして進んでいるってことですか？
正解。より正確に言うとメンブレンを薄くしたり濃くしたりすることで前に進んでいるんだ。
It's so strange when you put it like this, but you're effectively falling forward instead of moving in the traditional sense. The membrane is thinner in certain parts, which forces gravity to attract you in a specific direction. Same goes for any movements you make in the air.
まだその話続くの？早くグラシュ選びをしようよ。ごめんなさい、私もうちょっと聞きたいです。アスカがそう言うならいいけどさ。
You should really be paying attention to this, Misaki. Anyway, back on topic. Speeder graph shoes are adjusted to maximize the force of falling forward.
プレイヤーの動きに対して上半身のメンブレンが敏感に反応してその他の部位は鈍感に反応するように作られているんだよ。
That keeps other parts of the membrane from getting in the way after you gain speed by tilting forward.
競技用じゃない日常用のグラシも大体そういう作りだね。もちろん競技用はより敏感に作られている。
そういうことだった ですか。勉強になります。
Moving on, fighter grab shoes have a membrane that's high sensitivity all over. That prevents a player from achieving high speeds, but in exchange, they can move in quick bursts. Asuka nods at me repeatedly.
大体分かったような気がします。
もうちょっと話を続けると、グラシュにはバランサーという機能がついていて、ここを調整することによっていろいろ面白いことができる。
面白いことですか？
極端な例を出すと、右半身のメンブレンの反応だけを敏感にして、右側へだけは異常に俊敏に動けるとか、そういうこと。
Don't worry, I'll be handling the balance tuning. Balancer tuning, that's part of the coach's job.
自分でするんじゃなくてですか？
There are people who do it themselves, but that's not always the right choice. It'd be hard for a person to keep themselves from adjusting it to fit them, right?
普通はそういうものなんじゃありませんか？スポーツ用品に限らず、服なんかは自分の体に合ったものを選ぼうよとよく言いますよね。
That's true, but what suits you may not suit the match.
自分で調整すると、よほどストイックな人じゃないと甘えが出てしまうからね。俯瞰的に見て調整してくれる人がいるなら、それが一番いいと思うよ。
つまり私たちは朝や好みの体にされちゃうわけだ。
Quit making it sound so weird.
FC にはいろんな要素があるんですね。もっとドキドキしてきました。はーい、お話が終わったなら、まずは私のグラシュから選んでよこう。ジーン。
Fine. So, yeah, Shirase-san, Misaki's a fighter.
私ぐるぐる回ったりビューッと急上昇急降下したいから、なるべくピーキーなのがいいな。
飛行には結構自信があるのかな。
自信はわかんないけど、そういう暮らしの方がやりがいがあるというか、面白いから。
面白いというのは大切だな。うまく吐きこなせるかどうかわからないけど、インベイドの令和店員はどうかな。
Aren't those a little too finicky? Jade is an overseas manufacturer, so their shoes are rather unconventional, aren't they?
いやいや、それは偏見だな。国内ではマイナーだけど、海外に目を広げれば、インベイドは暮らしの最大手なんだから、信頼できるものを作ってるよ。
But Leviathans are finicky, right?
そうだけど、飛ぶ喜びのある暮らしだと。
はいはい、うんちくはそこまで。インベイドの霊母店員って簡潔に言うとどういうグラシュなんですか？
ファイター向けのモデルで、さっき君が言ってたように、最初からかなりピーキーな設定になってる。反応はすごくいい。上級者向けだね。
上級者向けか。じゃ、それにします。
How about you at least try them on first?
じゃあそうさせてもらおうかな。
起動キーは初期設定のフライになってるからね。店内だから軽く浮くだけで、それだけでも具合はわかるから。
わかりました。よっと、これで
Misaki raises her heels after putting on the shoes.
フライト。
Girl, quit overreacting. Misaki's facial expressions keep rapidly shifting as she levitates slightly above the ground.
これすごい。ただ立ってるだけのことが難しい。
Really?
初めてこれを履いてそんなに安定してるなんて大したもんだよ。
ありがとうございます。
Doesn't that mean you should pick more balanced ground shoes?
もん、これにする。これは制服しがいがありそう。
Didn't expect her to start on hard mode. Maybe she's some kind of masochist. Well, I can always adjust the balancer early on and make them easier to control.
毎度あり、解除キーもフライだよ。
Misaki clicks her heels together.
フライト。
After a moment, she lands on the ground with a light thud.
よし、私のブラシはこれで決定。私も同じ靴にしたいです。おう、そうする？はい、そうします。
Don't do it, Macho. Don't. You don't have any UFC experience, right?
いくらコーチだからといって美咲先輩への愛を止めることはできません。そこまでの権限はないはずですよ。
If you're going to insist, I won't stop you. Go on, give it a try. Shirase-san, give her a pair.
マサヤとの会話から察すると不安になっちゃうね。これは難しい暮らしだよ。
Don't give it to her.
大丈夫です。
Mashiro takes the shoe Shirase-san hands her with a confident look on her face.
見ていてください、美咲先輩。そして吠え面を描くがいいのです。マサヤ先輩。
Now that's surprising. Wouldn't expect to hear a girl say that.
では、行きます。頑張れー。頑張ってください。フライ。
First she plummets toward the ground head first, then she zooms up again right before hitting it. She keeps flopping about left and right at random as we watch her.
危ないです。
大丈夫。反重力子が効いてるから床にぶつかることはないよ。
でもパンツが見えてしまいます。見ちゃダメですよ、マサヤさん。
You sure worry about some strange things. Relax. Anti-gravitons will keep her skirt from slipping. Even clothes are wrapped in anti-graviton layers, so they don't really flutter.
マシロ、頑張れー。私への愛はどうした？頑張れません。こんなのは先輩への愛と全然関係ありません。
You changed her tune real quick. She's spinning like a top, screaming at the top of her lungs. Kinda looks like she's on a thrill ride or something.
止めてあげた方がいいと思います。
You need to spread eagle.
第二次戦争なんで
Not dread, spread. I'm telling you to spread your arms and legs. Mashiro desperately spreads out her stubby arms and legs as far as she can. Before long, her body slows down and she reaches a state where it's almost still.
それが一番安定する姿勢だからね。
Still want them?
クラッシュ選びはお任せします。
Mashiro says that, looking extremely disheartened. Don't try to land on your feet. Slowly come down with your bottom first, and deactivate the grab shoes once your hips reach the ground.
わかりました。
Mashiro follows my instructions perfectly.
ひどい目に遭いました。そう？もうちょっとで制御できそうだったのにな。そん なのちょっとも実感できませんでした。
I direct my eyes towards Shirase-san. Based on her performance just now, I'd say some basic fighter shoes would be best. Can you recommend some?
簡単な暮らしというのは各社がこぞって出してるとこだからね。コーツつけがたいな。何か好みは？
私の意志と関係なく空中で回転しなければ何でも。
Try to at least care a little.
真白ちゃんだっけ？女の子っぽいからガーリーな感じの靴がいいんじゃないかな。
Misaki nods in agreement.
確かに真白はそういうのが似合うと思うな。
Mashiro's face lights up at those words.
そうですか？それなら美咲先輩が選んでください。そういうのは自分で選んだ方が後悔しないよ。
I won't regret anything you choose, senpai.
いえ、美咲先輩に選んでもらわなかった方が後悔します。じゃあこのピンク色のとかどうかな。あ、でもちょっと子供っぽすぎる。
The two of them start browsing for grab shoes on their own. Okay, you're the only one left, Asuka.
よろしくお願いします、コーチ。
We don't know what you're good at yet, which means all-rounder shoes are your best option. They'll allow for both speeder or fighter settings with the right tuning.
わかりました。マサヤさんは飛んでいた時オールラウンダーだったんですか？
How'd you guess?
マサヤさんはいい人で気配りするタイプだからプレイスタイルもそうなのかなと思ったんです。
I see.
あれ、失礼なこと言っちゃいました？
No, not at all.
もしもの話ですよ。もしマサヤさんがプレイヤーとしてブラシを買おうとしたらどれにしますか？
Don't really want to think about that, but I guess these ones. I say as I pick up a pair of Hein Type 4. I had the original version back when they were just called Hein, but now that model is called Hein Type 1.
じゃあ私それにします。
You're gonna just go with what I like?
もちろん履いてから決めます。もし真白ちゃんみたいになってしまうようだったら諦めます。
I doubt that's possible with all-rounder shoes.
飛燕4型を試してみるの？渋いね。いいと思うよ。俺も好きなモデルだ。
How's the Type 4 different from the Type 1?
時代に合わせてバージョンアップしているだけだね。ただバランサーの幅がかなり広いからカスタマイズは自由にできる。
We don't know Asuka's style yet, so that's good.
私はスモールグローブのシャムというのにしてみます。
Do they look like cats?
それかわいいですね。
Well, the logo kind of looks like a cat. The yellow grab shoes that look like something straight out of a picture book.
ですよね。
Guess there are a lot of grab shoes nowadays that focus on looks.
可愛さを武器に美咲先輩へアピールすることにしました。
You're missing the actual point of getting your own grab shoes.
アスカのは硬派な感じだね。はい、マサヤさんに渋いのを選んでもらいました。もっと可愛いのを選んであげればいいのに。いえ、これでいいんです。私気に入りました。そう、だったらいいんだけど。
Guess we're all done here. Let's return to the club room and help Madoka. Guess we're all done here. Let's return to the club room and help Madoka.
わかりました。
毎度あり。また来てね。 特にマサヤはね。
Why me?
僕もコーチの経験はあるよ。葵に聞きづらいことがあったら僕に聞くといい。
I'll take you up on that offer when the time comes. Things I can't ask Aoi-san, huh? Can't think of anything right now, but I feel like I'll need his help eventually.
グラシは買ったし、じゃ帰りは部費で甘いものを食べていこう。賛成です。
No.
男の人って甘いものが苦手だったりするもんね。しょっぱいのでも私はいいけど。
That's not the issue here. I'm saying we can't use club funds on food.
だったらマサヤがご馳走してよ。
Why would I do that exactly?
それはマサヤ先輩のためでもあるんですよ。
Yeah, this Switch version is all glitchy. How?
だって選手とコーチの間には信頼関係が必要なんですよね。何かをご馳走すればそれが気づけるのでは。真っ白いいことを言った。じゃあ今日のところはラーメンで。
Hold on, I'd go broke if I paid for all of you. 4 times 650 yen makes 600. 4 times 650 yen makes 600. 4 times 650 yen makes 2,600 yen.
大丈夫。餃子は2人で1皿にするから。
You're planning on ordering more than just ramen?
ラーメンと餃子は私も大賛成なんですけど。やったー。
Et tu, Brute?
ですけど、その自分勝手なことを言って申し訳ないんですけど、このクラッシュで飛んでみたいんです。
I get how you feel, but can't that wait?
それじゃあ
Asuka doesn't seem to be backing down at all.
皆さんは何か食べに行っていただいても、私だけ学園に戻って。ストップストップ。アスカを一人にできるわけないってば。付き合うに決まってるじゃない。そんなキラキラしたお目目で言われたら断れないからね。ですよね。
Why don't the two of you learn from her? Okay, let's head back to school for our first test flight. Why don't the two of you learn from her? Okay, let's head back to school for our first test flight.
はい、ありがとうございます。あれ？グラウンドに誰もいないね。
None of the sports clubs are using the field, huh? We're in luck.
はい。ユニフォームに着替えなくていいんですか？
Nah, we're just testing stuff out right now. I'll head up there first.
コーチも一緒に飛ぶんですか？
No, I'm gonna watch you from above.
下から見るより上から見る方が飛行姿勢がよく見えるとかあるの？
No, that's not it. Listen, this may just be a test flight, but you're still going to do some loops and take positions when you're flying upright.
まあせっかくだから普通の暮らしだとしづらいことをしてみるとは思うけど。わかりました。パンツですよ、パンツ。パンツ？あ、パンチラだ。まさやいやらしい。いやらしさ爆発ですね。
I'm staying above you to avoid seeing your panties, so I'm clearly not. Asuka tries to speak to me with a blush on her face.
私、そういうのあま り気にしてなかったんですけど、もしかして日常的にパンツを見せて飛んでいましたか？クラスのみんなに痴女だと思われてるかもね。そんな！かわいそうですけど、あだ名はパンツでしょうね。私、影でパンツ扱いですか？
Cut it out. Don't worry, no one's seen your panties.
そうなんですか？でも、下から覗かれてしまったら。
You couldn't see Masha's panties when she was out of control earlier, right? The membrane goes over your skirt, so it doesn't flutter much.
でも、下から見たらそんなの関係なく見えてしまうんじゃないですか？
Not really. You tilt forward when flying, right? That keeps people directly below you from seeing anything. You'd have to look for a really weird angle to get even a tiny peek.
そうなんですか？
Say there's a girl in a short skirt who's walking up the stairs ahead of you. You might think you'd be able to see her panties, but in reality it's not that simple. This is the same.
マサヤはスカートの短い女の子がいたらそんなことばかり考えてるんだ。
No.
マサヤさんって。
Trust me.
アスカ先輩、そこら辺は察しても気づかないふりをしてあげるのが女の度量というものですよ。そうそう。そういうものでしたか。
Look.
マサヤさん、私何も思ってませんから。
No, you clearly don't.
わかってます。
Asuka says as she nods her head. Yeah, she totally thinks I'm some massive perv. Well, whatever. Anyway, I'm heading up now. Put on your grab shoes and join me when you're ready.
じゃ、行くよ。初飛行。
Misaki shoots upward right away, but she can't keep herself even remotely straight.
よっと。おっと。おお。
It's like she's walking on a tightrope. She's wearing Leviathans, so simple hovering probably takes up all her energy.
私も行きます。
Asuka seems to almost trip and fall upward. I fly over to Asuka in an attempt to assist her. Calm down. First, direct your eyes into the distance. Focus on the horizon.
はい。
Now make the soles of your feet face the ground. Once you manage that, try and tilt forward slowly.
はい。
Asuka follows my instructions to the letter.
難しいですね。
However, she keeps swaying left and right. I suppose that's because she changed shoes before even getting used to her first pair.
通学に使ってるブラシとは全然違います。すごく過敏に反応します。あと、体がキュッと締め付けられているような気が。
Yeah, those are the two main differences between FC and civilian grab shoes. I'm sure you'll enjoy these a lot more once you get used to them.
頑張ります。あ、マスヤさん、私のかかとからコントレールが出てます。
Well, yeah, you're wearing FC grab shoes. Okay, this is a good chance to explain one last thing to you. Hey, Misaki, can you fly over to Asuka and turn your back to her?
ああ、なるほどね。はいはい。
Misaki raises her hand to signal that she understands, then wobbles her way over to Asuka.
準備できたよ。
Asuka, go ahead and touch Misaki's back lightly.
タッチですか？あ、はい、わかりました。
The moment Asuka's hand comes into contact with Misaki's body, a red triangle appears and the force of repulsion pushes them away from each other.
ポイントフィールドですよね。私がドッグファイトで得点したってことですね。
Glad you remember.
じゃ、今度はこっちからタッチしちゃおう。いくよ、アスカ
Misaki wobbles behind Asuka, startling her. She tries to resist, but finds herself unable to fly well enough to escape. The point field appears, signifying that Misaki has scored. Hey, you need to get the okay before you touch someone's back during practice.
皆さん、見てください。私もちゃんと飛べてますよ。
Wow, you're doing great. Those grab shoes may be for beginners, but they're still fighter shoes. Fighting in them is pretty difficult.
いいぞ、マシロー。よーし、そこで大回転だ。任せてください。
I sure hope you do. Most people can pull that off in normal grab shoes. Guess there's no need to worry.
いきますよ。
She fails spectacularly. Mashiro didn't get enough speed, so she stalled near the turning point of the loop. She proceeds to fall diagonally downward as she spins sideways. Maybe she strained her body in an attempt to somehow complete the loop.
マシロちゃん。海崎先輩、助けてください。ごめん、助けたいけど、今の私はまっすぐ飛ぶことさえできないから。
I approach Mashiro and remind her of my lesson from earlier. Regain balance by spreading your arms and legs. Maybe not right now.
でもマサヤがその位置だったら、両手両足を広げたらパンツが見えるんじゃない
？Mashiro covers her crotch with her hands and presses her legs together. Idiot, if you do that now...
パンツがちゃんと見えませんか？
No, she'll have even less control. In figure skating, drawing in your arms makes you spin faster and stretching them slows it down. Same rules apply here. It's the law of conservation of angular momentum. I'm telling you to spread your arms and legs.
でもそんなことしたらパンツが。
I swear I don't care about your panties.
気にされないのは気にされないで不愉快です。
What do you expect me to do?
単純にマサヤが目をそらせばいいのでは？
Oh, right. I'm not looking anymore. Spread your arms and legs now. Hurry.
止まりました。
Good grief. Mashiro flies over to me as soon as she's back in control.
私のパンツは何色でしたか？
I didn't really get a clear look at them, but I think magenta pink. However, rainbow colored, I think. I'd have to be an idiot to answer honestly.
七色のパンツなんか売ってません。嘘をつくならもっとちゃんとついてください。
That's a weird thing to get mad over. Didn't she just say a good woman has to let things slide once in a while? None of you should be flying loops today. It's a little too dangerous to try that right off the bat. In more ways than one.
本当に通学用のブラシとは全然違いますね。どこまでも行けそうだし、スピードがすごく出そうです。
Some people compare it to the difference between normal cars and sports cars.
自動車のことは詳しくないですけど、なんとなくわかる気がします。私はまだまっすぐ飛ぶことさえできないけどね。
Well, you chose to go with a race car instead. Everything's going well right now, but once actual practice starts, am I going to be able to coach them properly? I keep watching the three of them from above with that single question running through my mind all the while. It's after dinner now. I'm trying to search for effective FC train methods on the internet, but it's just not working. I let go of my mouse and sink into my chair. For some reason, I can't connect to the internet. Maybe there's a problem with the connection, or maybe the router's broken. Who knows? I tried clicking different buttons on the control panel, but I'm not very computer savvy, so that turned up nothing. I give up. With no other option, I unplugged the modem. After a few seconds, my mom, who's downstairs, starts complaining about having lost her internet connection. I quickly explain the situation to her. I'll plug the modem back in tomorrow and see if anything's changed. If not, I'll probably have to call someone. Well, 1 or 2 days is nothing. Life without internet isn't all bad. I can just use my free time on other stuff. A while back, I even started assembling a pair of grab shoes to learn more about their inner working. What's that? I think I just heard the sound of someone opening the window across from mine. That would be Ichinose's place. Guess that must be her. Should I say something? No, we aren't really close enough for me to just pop my head out with a good evening. Hell, she probably thinks I'm a peeping Tom because of what happened the other day. Better ignore it. Need to avoid any further misunderstandings. How am I supposed to ignore that? What's behind the curtain? I really want to know. She's falling out the window, isn't she? Hold up, this is my room. Aren't I being a bit too considerate here? I knock on my window, deciding to at least give her a fair warning. Is it safe for me to look over in Ichinose? Is it safe for me to look over Ichinose? Ichinose looks at me and freezes. She's holding up a laptop toward the sky. Is she offering it to a god or something? Ichinose's face flushes red. I don't really get what's going on. Did I end up seeing something private again? Okay, good night. She stops as I'm about to close my window. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Seems she's back to normal. You don't have to tell me anything. Oh. Guess we're in the same boat. I see. That's why you... Wait, that's the reason she tried something so ridiculous? It looked like something out of an old movie I saw. In it, the person was fiddling with the antenna on their boombox and stretching it out toward the sky to try and get a more clear audio feed. I don't know much about computers either, but I know not to do that. Okay. Even more similar than I thought. Ichinose hangs her head. She seems pretty depressed. What's wrong? That's all? Huh.
ちょっと納得できないことがありまして、部内の問題ではなくて他校のことなんですけど。
What's your club again? Ichinose starts explaining the situation to me even though I never asked her to. Maybe she's actually mad. I should act understanding here and let her blow off some steam. Damn, there sure are some bad schools out there.
あ、でもどこにだって事情はあるんでしょうから悪く言うのはダメですよ、ひなたさん。
Didn't you start it?
私はそこまでは言葉にしていません。
True.
でも私に合わせて私に代わって怒ってくださったのはありがとうございます。
That wasn't really what I was trying to do.
ともあれ私にもいろいろとあったわけでして。
I see. I nod in response.
話を戻しますが、私一人だとインターネットにつなげなくなった理由がいまいちわからなくて、両親が毎日残業で遅いことは仕方ないというか、でもこんな日はいてくれたらなぁと。
Just wait until tomorrow. One day without internet's no big deal, right? I already thought of a bunch of stuff to do during the downtime.
そうですよね。
Damn, she looked dead inside before she forced that smile onto her face. Sure hope that was just my imagination. Let me take a look at it.
はい。
Your laptop, I mean. Ichinose processes my request as her eyes wander between me and her laptop. After a few moments, she tightly hugs her laptop. Wow, overprotective much?
もしかして悪いこと考えてます？
I'm only trying to help fix your internet connection. Guess she thinks I'm a repeat offender. Well, putting that aside, if it's a simple issue, I might be able to fix it. I tend to work a lot better when I'm trying to help others. And based on what I've seen, I'm a lot more computer literate than her. Just so happens that we had a similar issue earlier. I still haven't fixed that one, but she doesn't need to know that.
本当ですか？でもやっぱり
What's the problem?
こういうのとか携帯って個人情報の塊ですから。
I'll go grab my ground shoes. It'll be fine if you watch me work, right?
でしたら私も。
And so, the two of us float through our respective windows with our grab shoes. That way, Ichinose can watch as I attempt to solve her problems. Okay, let's see. I move the cursor around and check the status of her Wi-Fi adapter.
さっきの気を悪くされました？
What are you talking about? I ask without tearing my eyes away from the screen.
ノート PC をお渡ししなかったことです。
Girl, I get you.
自衛はしとかないとって思ったんですが、自分でも自意識過剰かなとか鬱陶しいかもって。
Oh no, not at all. Honestly, that impressed me. You seem really mature. We're practically strangers, so she made the smart choice. When you think about it, my request was pretty suspicious. She was right to say no.
そう言っていただけますと助かります。
Good. Oh, I know what the problem is.
何かわかりましたか？
I have.
もうですか？
Yeah. It was a far simpler issue than I initially thought. That chicken background? What is this down here? Reading her Wi-Fi stuff. Ichinose's laptop is picking up over 10 available networks right now. Every same networks my computer can see, in fact. However, that's only... However, that's only happening because the default network is down. In other words, we have the same issue. Either the modem or router is busted. I find one network with a particularly strong signal as I scroll through the list. This place must be nearby. I try connecting to it, but a password prompt gets in my way.
治ります？
I feel sorry for Ichinose, who's looking at me with a mix of anxiety and anticipation in her eyes, but there's nothing either of us can do. Can't believe we're having the exact same issue at the exact same time. What are the chances? Must be higher than winning the lottery, at least. I go through all the same steps as earlier to solidify my hunch, then... Wait,
どうされました？
hold on. I take another look at the list of networks. Maybe... There's only a small chance this works, but it's worth a shot.
どちらに行かれるんです？
I'll be right back. I return to my room, plug the modem in, and then float back over to Ichinose.
あ、すごい！治ってます！
Wow, that actually fixed Ichinose's internet connection.
どうされたんですか？
Ichinose is starry-eyed as she looks up at me. Sorry, but it's only a temporary fix. I can't tell her the truth. I mean, how would I even explain this to her? I doubt she was doing it on purpose, but it looks like she's been using our internet this whole time. Her internet connection must have disappeared the moment I unplugged the modem. She was in the same boat as my mom, not me. I never bothered setting a password, which meant anyone could freely connect to our network. Shinose's laptop just so happened to pick ours and set it as the default connection when she first moved in. Other strong password-protected network on the list must be hers. I'd like to fix this right away. There's probably a sticker with a password somewhere on her router. But if I'm wrong, Ichinose will be left with no internet for the rest of the night. After all, there's no way she'd continue to use ours to point out the mistakes she made. Well, she just wanted me to get her internet back, so mission accomplished, I guess. It'll do for now, but you should have your parents take a look at your network list when they have some time.
接続先ですね。はい、わかりました。
Hopefully her parents notice the mistake and deal with it on their own.
ありがとうございます。
No, I should be thanking you.
はい、どうしてひなたさんが？
Don't worry about it. She unintentionally helped me realize that the problem is my computer.
これでさっきの話を友達に相談できます。
Huh? That's why you were so worried about not having internet?
さあ、どうでしょう。
Ichinose appears to be in high spirits again. Glad I could help.
本当にお世話になりました。改めてお礼を。
Don't worry about it.
でも、ひなたさんにはずっと。
Ichinose starts to get all serious. I feel like this will go on forever if I don't nip it in the bud. Well, it's good that your internet's working again. Night. I hurriedly flee back into my room.
そうだ。また着替えのこと謝るの忘れちゃってた。もう私、しっかりしてよ。
After I get back into my room, I take off my grab shoes and let out a deep sigh. After I get back in my room, I take off my grab shoes and let out a deep breath. Just can't get used to how serious she is all the time. Still, I'm glad things turned out okay. Alright, time to get cracking. Need to study up on FC. I have to earn the right to call myself their coach. Later that night, I find out why I can't connect to the internet. It's a really stupid reason, too. The Wi-Fi dongle fell out on its own. Can't believe I didn't notice. I take a couple deep breaths after I land next to the abandoned bus that has become our club room. Today's our first real day of training. I came up with a schedule, but it's only good in theory. Jury's still out on how well it'll work in practice. What if I fail as a coach? I hope I do a good job. Wait, where is everyone? Strange. It was my turn to clean the restroom, so Asuka and Misaki... Strange. It was my turn to clean the restroom, so Asuka and Misaki left school before me. I look up at the sky. Doesn't seem like they're out warming up. Huh. Something's different. All the window shades on the bus are down. Do we leave them like that after cleaning the place up? Don't go in there, they're changing! I do remember Misaki messing around with them. I walk over to a window and peek through a part that the shade isn't fully covering. Why is Misaki, like, totally naked? What the? I feel like I've been run over by a truck. My heart's almost leaping out of my chest. I mean that literally, not figuratively. What the hell's going on? Oh wait, I know exactly what this is. When you speed up with grab shoes, a sort of numb feeling fills your legs, and my legs feel pretty similar right about now. Part of my blistered mind knows it's better to get away from the window, but... well, that's a really hard choice to make. What man wouldn't be conflicted in my shoes? I mean, come on. It's only natural for me to want to keep watching this girl get changed. I gulp down my saliva. God, you're such a creep. Damn it. A sense of regret courses through my head. If only I'd gotten here sooner. You're really doing a zoom in on it? Asuka and Noshiro are already done changing. Even 20 seconds earlier would have been a huge improvement. Man, I'm sounding like a real scumbag, huh? But I just can't help it. I've got no way to hold back my urges. Not when... Misaki's practically naked. I can't take my eyes off her. I know this makes me some sort of dirty degenerate, but... just this once. I'm okay with that. God, she's taking practically forever to put that suit over her leg. If she lowers her knees some more, I'll see her. I know I've fallen into total creeper territory, but I can't help wishing that happened.
これをここに通してと結構着るのが大変ですね。そうですね。
Just real quick, so if I was changing my clothes, I personally would, always keep an eye on the window, but, this is like an anime moment, so...
練習用の服ならもっと楽なんだけどね。
She says that she doesn't put it on at all.
でも最初の練習日は記念の日ですから。気合を入れるためにも試合用のユニフォームね。ましろ、どうかしたの？
We've been spotted.
さっきから様子が少し変ですよね。いや、美咲先輩の着替え方は大胆だなと。
Never mind, it's her lesbian taking over.
そう？あ、それは私も思ってました。普通はもっと恥ずかしそうに隠しながら着替えますよね。やっぱり体に自信があるからでしょうか。いや別にそういうわけじゃないけど、そういうの面倒じゃない？女の子同士なわけだし。それはそうですけど、なかなか真似できません。それじゃあもっと恥ずかしがった方がいいかな。 隠したりとか？
半分正しいですけど半分間違っています。
Mashiro will be like, no, don't cover yourself at all. No, don't put any clothes on. No.
どういうこと？
もっと恥ずかしそうにしつつ隠したりせずにもっと大胆になりましょう。
すごいこと言い出したな。
そっちの方がなんて言えばいいんでしょうか。そそります。
そそるんだ。
She's really not holding back. Oh my god.
せめて可愛いとか萌えとかの表現の方が。いえ、私はそんな言葉で自分の心に嘘をつきません。そそります。
そんなこと力説されても。
美咲先輩が可愛いからしょうがないんです。
Nice work, Mashiro. Now all Misaki has to do is listen to her and...
もうちょっと膝を下げてくれれば胸が全部見えるのにね。
Yeah, but there's still a chance that she...
意外と根性があるね。
That's way off base. I'm just so startled that I have no clue how to react. How much hush money is this gonna take?
とりあえずそこから顔を離した方がいいと思うけどな。
Shit. Damn it. Another 10 seconds and I would have been in heaven. Ugh. I let out a quiet groan as I turned to face Monica. I never intended to peep. Please believe me.
なるほどなるほど。で、どういうつもりだったの？
I was wondering why the shades were closed, so I went over to the window, and then things ended up like this. What are you gonna do with me?
コーチが初日から覗きをしてたってバレたら士気が怒涛の勢いで落ちるだろうから、今回は秘密にしておいてあげるよ。
My deepest gratitude, oh gracious Madoka. My deepest gratitude, oh gracious Madoka. I end up responding in a far too polite tone.
ま、年明けまではね。
You want me to buy you a bunch of stuff? Is that what you're saying? What's up with Christmas?
だってお年玉もらうでしょ。その時にそのお金でどうにかしてもらうから。
Guess she isn't all that forgiving.
とにかくこんなことしたらダメだよ、コーチ。
I deeply regret my actions. The bus's door opens with a creak.
あ、コーチとまどかちゃんだ。そんなとこに立ってまさか覗いてたりとか？
覗いてたよ。みんなの着替えをしっかり見ちゃったね。
Don't even joke about that. I'm guessing she thought it would be more natural to crack a joke, but her words have me on edge.
マサヤ先輩にそんなことする度胸なんかないですよ。
いやいや、こう見えてマサヤは男らしいとこがあるからね。
Not really. I'm practically a beta male. I get in on the joke to avoid any suspicion. Asuka, on the other hand, seems to be retreating inward.
でもぴったりしているからちょっと恥ずかしいです。そうですよね。腕の置き場に困る感じがありますよね。胸を隠すのが自意識過剰な気がしますけど、だからといって隠さずにいるのも不安というか。美咲ちゃんは堂々としてるね。
そういうのは誰だって。水泳だって最初は水着が恥ずかしいけど泳いでるうちにどうでもよくなるじゃない？
確かに 最初はバスタオルで隠しながら歩いているのに、帰りは水着姿でスタスタしてること多いです。
どうせそうなるって分かってるんだから、最初から堂々としてればいいの。それに恥ずかしがってたらマサヤが喜んじゃうし。
そうなんですか？
Of course not.
反応が何かおかしくありませんか？動揺しすぎですよ。
I'd never do that. Trust me. Don't believe her lies. I haven't done anything wrong.
おう、みんなもう集合してたのか。
Prez lands next to us. It's like he got changed back at school. Great timing. Prez proceeds to nod to himself over and over again as he looks around at us.
俺はもう一人じゃないんだ。感動だ。
みんなフライングスーツを着ると復活するぞって感じだね。
身も心も引き締まる感じがします。ちょっと可愛すぎる気もしますけど、水着っぽくなってるとことか。
可愛いのはいいことだよ、真っ白。
そうですね。美咲先輩の可愛い姿を見れて楽しいです。
ただ問題なのは、これって着替えるときに裸にならなきゃいけないってことだよね。
My throat dries up in an instant. Why are you looking at me and Prez like that?
己の筋肉以上に愛する体などはない。大体そんな真似をするほど俺も日向も卑怯な男ではない。
He's right on all accounts.
美咲先輩を覗きたくなったら私に言ってください。私が犠牲になりますから。
そんなこと言わないで真っ白。その時は2人で一緒に犠牲になりましょう。
ああ、2人だけでずるいです。私も犠牲に混ぜてください。
Does Asuka even get what she's saying? You're worrying about nothing. Neither of us would ever do that.
だよね。
I mean, it would destroy any sense of trust between us.
すがよくわかってる。
I clap my cheeks with both my hands to dispel all distracting thoughts. Okay, today's the day we finally get started with real practice. But before that, there's something I need to confirm with you.
なになに？私の好きな人は誰でしょうということ？
Why would I care about something like that?
悲しいとか言うな。
I'm talking about setting our goals. It's hard to keep motivated when you're not working toward anything.
私は面白ければ何でもいいけどな。
私も一緒です。
Fun is definitely important, but that can't be a goal on its own.
どうしてさ？
Because that wouldn't boost our morale. If we set that as our goal, everyone would lose focus when we do any intense training.
やはり悲願の県大会1回戦突破だ。
いいちゃん、それって悲しくない？
A good goal is something that motivates people, so how about we aim a little higher?
ならば2回戦突破だ。
全国大会優勝を狙います。
That's aiming a little too high. Let's keep it to something more realistic.
文句ばかり言って。だったらマサヤが決めたら？
Let's see. How about getting to top 8 at the prefectural tournament?
さすが日向。 理想が高いな。
そうですか？
Our prefecture is packed with top FC clubs. People even say winning here is harder than winning the nationals.
そうだったんですか。私、楽しみになってきました。
I like that attitude. Okay, let's focus on the basics for now. It's best not to get into any matches until you have a handle on flying.
わかりました。
Let's see. We'll focus on fundamentals until the end of Golden Week. It may not be very fun, but it's important.
頑張ります。私も頑張るぞ。私も。
おっしゃ、やってやるぜ。
We finish setting up buoys over the ocean, then approach everyone as they're warming up. Okay, we'll start with field flying.
フィールドフライって何ですか？
Flying along the lines that form the field. The most important thing for you to learn is how to maintain your form.
そんなことしてないでバチバチやり合おうよ。
No, basics first, remember? Plus, this will help me decide on your grab shoe settings. Now listen, you don't have to fly fast. The thing I need to see is how well you follow the lines, so don't stray too far off the path.
はーい。わかりました。頑張ります。
Oh, Prez, just so we're clear, make sure you don't bump into any of the others when you pass them.
わかってる。
Same goes for the rest of you. Make sure you warn the person in front of you before passing them.
はーい。
ありゃ。
Prez is really good at flying in a straight line. Unfortunately, his turns at the buoys are pretty bad.
あら、なんか傾いちゃいます。
Asuka is trying to fly straight, but she keeps banking to the right. Maybe she's tensing up her right shoulder too much. I feel like her form was better during her match with that Satsuine person.
おかしいな。
Mashiro is having the same problem as Asuka. What's different is that she's trying to correct herself, which makes her stumble constantly. Very hectic and flustered way of flying.
うわ、何これ。全然まっすぐいかないんだけど。
Misaki is a total disaster. She can't fly even remotely straight. Instead, she's just reeling around without any semblance of balance. Her shoes must be making it pretty hard for her. But still, even accounting for that, she's doing a terrible job. After about 15 minutes, I call everyone down again.
結構疲れますね。ですね。普通の暮らしで飛ぶよりもずっと緊張します。全身がバキバキでもう限界。
That was quick. That was quick.
でもこの暮らしを征服してると思えば。
Hard to tell whether she's a masochist or a sadist.
はーい、麦茶を用意してるから飲んでね。水分補給は大切だよ。やったー、終わり終わり。麦茶飲んで終了だ。
Moving on to the next exercise once you finish your drinks.
終わりじゃないの？
Of course not, it's only been 15 minutes. Who in their right mind only practices for 15 minutes? Next, we'll spice up our field flying. Whenever you pass someone, you have to touch their back. And the person who's about to be touched can't try to escape.
どうして逃げちゃダメなんですか？
This will help you recover faster when you're thrown off balance in a dogfight. Should hopefully help give you the edge in a real match.
ということはタッチされた後にすぐに姿勢を戻してまっすぐ飛ぶように努力すればいいんですね。
Exactly. Remember, you can spread your arms and legs to help with that.
フラッシュのお店で私がやったみたいにですか？
Yeah.
ふーん、さっきよりは楽しそうだね。
Prez, you will probably end up touching the others a lot during this exercise, but try to keep your speed down. They'll be sent flying if you hit them at full speed.
兄ちゃんはすぐに自分に夢中になるから不安だな。
俺だって部長としてみんなのために努力するつもりだ。任せておけ。ゆっくり飛ぶぜ。
Okay, let's get started. What can I say? It's turning out exactly as I expected. Asuka and Ochiro are getting flung around so much that it's almost funny. And each time they get all flustered and can hardly recover. Kinda looks like they're drowning midair.
よっと、部長、もっと強くタッチしてくれてもいいですよ。
On the other hand, Misaki's recovery speed is incredible. She's struggling to fly in a straight line, but it takes her no time to return to her default state. She mentioned having experience, but I forgot to ask how much. Misaki's the type of person who's good at everything, but I'm still left surprised by how good she is already. An unpleasant image from the past runs through my mind. There was a player who could easily recover no matter how much I chipped away at his speed and threw him off balance. She reminds me a lot of that guy. Just thinking about that makes my throat run dry. No time to think about that now. It's only the first day, so we'll end practice here. Better to start off slow. Don't want to overwork them. I've also grasped everyone's strengths and weaknesses by now, which means I have some work to do on my end. What's that? Seems like someone's approaching from above.
あ、先生だ。
Turns out it's Aoi-san. She descends over to me in her grab shoes.
おう、ちゃんと練習してるみたいだな。だけど初日から無理させちゃダメだぞ。
I know, I was just about to call it a day.
ちょっとした報告があるんだ。
Oh?
もう練習終わるんだろ。制服に着替えてから集合だ。
Got it.
机の上が女子好みだな。
Pretty girly, cause, like, everyone's a girl, you know? Just makes sense. Like, duh.
やっぱりほらこういう雰囲気じゃないと部活も楽しくないですからね。
青柳が部長だからもっと筋肉っぽい部室かと思った。
I can totally see that.
俺はそこら辺こだわらないですよ。もっともっと乙女な部屋にしてもらっても平気だ。
You don't need to sound so enthusiastic.
さあさあ、先生もお菓子食べてくださいよ。これ美味しいですよ。
そんな風に媚びを売っても成績には響かないぞ。
いやいや、単純に先生が食べてないと食べづらいってだけのことですよ。
そうですそうです。萎縮しちゃいます。
そうは見えないけど、そこまで言うならいただこうかな。
So, what's the good news?
あ、それな。ゴールデンウィークは高藤学園と一緒に合宿すると決まったから練習試合をどんどんやっていく。
What?
高藤学園？
なんでそんなに驚く？
Well, I mean, just think about it. No one other than Prez can even fly yet. Matches are out of the question.
最低限試合ができる程度まで飛べるようにするのがお前の仕事だろ。
Still.
初心者だからこそ試合をした方がいいんだよ。試合でしかわからないことは早めに知っておいた方がいい。
You have a point, but
それに締め切りがあった方がやる気が出るだろう。じっくりと基礎をやろうだなんて考えてたらいつまでたっても本気になれないぞ。
you sure about that?
本気にならないと基礎も身につかないだろう。
Sure, they might learn faster that way, but why is she so focused on us taking this seriously?
ま、合宿は決定だからな。無茶だと思ってもそれにしがみついてやってみるんだ。
Fine. I'll make sure they're good enough to at least compete.
頑張ります。いきなり試合ができるなんて楽しみ。普通の練習よりそういうのが好きだな。
私はちょっと不安です。
やってみないといつまでも不安なままだぞ。
I guess there are things you can only learn by doing, but still.
さて、先ほどの練習を見ていたが、
Aoi-san looks at Misaki as she says that.
素人にしてはいい動きするじゃないか。
ありがとうございます。
Misaki's no beginner. She has some FC experience.
なるほどな。それと倉科も良かったぞ。
ありがとうございます。
She calls Asuka's flopping flailing good. What's with the laugh?
最初から名コーチはいないってこと。みんなを成長させるってことは自分も成長しなきゃいけないってことを理解しなよ。
What does that have to do with Asuka?
関係あるのかもね。ま、ちゃんと見てあげなさい。私が口出しばかりしていたらマサヤのためにならないからな。
Okay.
それじゃみんな頑張るように。
Aoi-san gets up, stretches a little, and then flies off toward the sports ground. What was she trying to say? Not like it matters, I guess. Right now, my job is to get all our members ready for real matches by Golden Week. I have to at least teach them how to do the high yo-yos and low yo-yo. I have to at least teach them how to do high yo-yos and low yo-yos. I can't go to that training camp as complete amateurs. Only hold Takafuji Academy back if we do. Oh, wait a minute. This is starting to sound really familiar. A sudden training camp with Takafuji Academy.
部活でちょっと納得できないことがありまして、それも部内の問題ではなくて他校の勝手な都合に先輩たちが振り回されてしまうことになって。マサヤさん、顔が引きつって体も震えてるような。大丈夫ですか？
Yeah, I'm trembling. Trembling with excitement, that is. Never thought we'd get to train with Takafuji Academy. They're real famous around these parts. For some reason, Ichinose's solemn face flashes through my mind. The girl's so earnest that she even waited outside my front door this morning to thank me for my help last night. It has to be a coincidence. There's no way this is all connected.
頼もしいです、マサヤさん。
I can't let that get me down. My top priority right now is getting these girls into fighting shape. I have a bad feeling about this, but for now, I'll shake it off. I need to keep everyone motivated. Let's put our backs into this.
おー！
Is this really gonna be alright? Asuka's one thing, but Misaki and Nashiro worry me. They seem nowhere near as motivated as her.
はあ、今日も たくさん練習しましたね。
Right. Man, I'm going to have to completely change my plans for tomorrow. Now I've got to explain advanced FC skills to people who can't even fly properly. Well, explaining them is the easy part. Actually learning to perform them is a whole other story. There's also a ton of other stuff I have to do. Need to make sure they know all the rules, as well as basic strategy. Plus we need to pencil in time to practice all this. Why did Aoi-san schedule such an unreasonable training camp? There's no time to actually prepare for it.
マサヤさん。
Huh? Did you say something?
はい、ちょっと。
Okay. Sorry, I was lost in thought.
ひょっとして今度の合宿のことですか？
How'd you guess?
先生と話した後のマサヤさんを見てればそれぐらいはわかります。
I see. I was trying not to let my worries show, but I guess I'm a bad actor. Need to work on my poker face.
私まだまだ全然飛べないですけど、それでも頑張りますから。だから見捨てないでよろしくお願いします。
Give up on you? I never. I catch myself before I finish that sentence. She's probably worried that she forced me into all this by asking for my help. From Asuka's perspective, I didn't choose to be her coach, which is why she's worried about me sticking around. Add that on to how worried I must look, and it's only natural that she thinks I might quit. I've already failed as a coach if I'm making my team feel uneasy. Don't worry, I'm in this for the long haul.
本当ですか？
You bet.
私本当に出来が悪いかもしれませんよ。
I'll make you carry around a tire as you fly.
いえ、なんか昭和っぽいしごき方です。
That's for you to find out. But hey, I promise to make sure you at least enjoy it. I smile at Asuka. I'd be a bad coach if I only made you suffer. Asuka returns my smile.
ですね。楽しいこと大切だと思います。
Fun, huh? Maybe I need to find the fun in coaching. Just don't blame me if things get tough.
そうなんですね。
Guess I'll really have to drill it into your body. There's no way around it.
わかりました。コーチ、私の体をいじめてください。
You know, you should really think before you speak. Well, whatever. Keep up the good work tomorrow.
はい、頑張ります。
Glad she's so into all this.
頑張れます。
She softly touches the hair tie she's using for her side ponytail as she says that. Almost feels like she's making some kind of vow. The hair tie is designed to look like a feather. It really fits someone as bubbly as Asuka, but for a second, something about it gave me the chills. That's... no, just wondering if touching your hair tie is some kind of habit. Asuka laughs awkwardly. Seems she's embarrassed.
そうですね。ちょっとしたおまじないなんです。
I see.
ですです。元気を出すためにみたいな感じで。
I see.
あ、そろそろ着きますね。
The terminal comes into view.
明日から忙しくなりますね。
Yep, and you better keep up.
コーチ。
Asuka's reply is full of energy. That's good. There's almost no time until the training camp. Luckily, there's a clear-cut deadline. It makes it easy to work out a schedule. Everything's going just as Miss Kagami planned. It's frustrating that I'm dancing to her tune, but I'll have to put up with it for now. Just need to focus on the upcoming training camp. 編。
突然決まった高藤との合同合宿。なんかいいよね、お泊まりって。美味しいご飯食べられるかもしれないし。でも心配性のマサヤは一人で悩んでるっぽい。そこへ突然現れた最強のスカイウォーカー、進藤さんって言うんだけど、一体マサヤと何を話してたんだろう。次回「青の彼方のフォーリズム」第3話「ライバルたち」。彼方の向こうに何かが見える。
Alright, and with that, episode 2 is done. Continue on with 3 next time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see
青の
you.
彼方のフォーリズム。
And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.